It's time for the Financial Crisis Talk Center with Ken Gross and David Einstandig from Thav Gross.
Credit card debt is number one. I view it as financial cancer.
40% of your gross income is going to just pay the debt service. You got no chance of getting out.
I would give up my credit score to get rid of debt.
Here's your host, Ken Gross.
All right, it's time for another segment of the Financial Crisis Talk Center. David Einstanding's with me, Brian Small's with me, Eric Berlin, our youngest new associate at Thav Gross, is with us for the show. Eric, it's great to have you here. Are you ready for your presentation on the rule against perpetuities?
Oh, yeah. I've got the memo ready, and I figured you guys could use some youthful energy in here. So
I just got a breaking announcement and said we have something else we have to cover, so we're going to have to hold
next
that,
week.
Eric.
Next
Wait.
week.
He said he thought we could have some youthful energy in here.
Yeah.
Is that accusing us of being old?
Just
No,
Ken.
just not youthful.
Just not youthful.
Oh.
And unfortunately for the two of you, you got lumped in with me. So he wasn't putting you in his category.
You're the only one here, Ken, who went K through 12 in the same building.
I did not go K
Yes,
through
you
12 in the same
did.
building. All right. In this segment, what we're going to talk about is reality check time. It's the end of January, and the credit card bills are coming in. The fun of the holidays, in the words of Ernie Harwell, is long gone.
Well, hell did freeze over.
It did.
And thawed. Okay. So now the credit card bills are there, and what are you going to do about the credit card debt?
Move to Guam.
Yes, you have a thing about Guam. I don't know. It's
Did you know that people that
I'm
live in
gonna
Guam
put
are called
Guam-
Guamanians?
This is a televised segment of the show. I'm going to put a map of Guam up so at least people know where it is when they're watching the show. Because I'm not really Guam oriented. Is that okay, Dave? We can get Guam in there? Okay. I always say credit card debt is financial cancer. And I said that, and I was doing the outline last night, and I said, I wonder if anyone else has stolen that line on a national basis, because I feel so strongly of how bad credit card debt is. So I Googled credit card debt, financial cancer. On page 1 of Google, all I got were circumstances where people had credit card debt and cancer, and could they get some kind of relief from their debt, not linking the two together. I said, okay, so no one else has adopted it. I go to page 2, and I did find one link where they talked about financial cancer, credit card debt as financial cancer.
Other than you?
No, it was me, and it was the YouTube segment of the show that aired a year ago, January 7th, 2013. So it kind of goes to show you that there is a certain, weren't you saying to me recently, a certain level of redundancy in what I do.
I would
But
call
there-
it
It's a
but-
year,
Call
and
it
here I am
unique.
back to the
But
same
there's
thing.
redundancy, Ken, because the problem isn't solved.
Absolutely.
And we continue to repeat history, and we continue to have the same economic problems on an individual basis. Yes, the economy may be growing. We may be coming out of the recession. Things may be improving. But for the average guy, it still hurts their pocketbook. Gas is still too expensive. Groceries are way too
Well,
expensive.
gas is down.
And
It's up a little bit.
oh
again.
yeah, gas was $3.49 a gallon. That's down. Remember when gas was $1.26 a gallon?
No.
I do.
Listen,
I
I
don't.
remember when gas was 28 cents a gallon, but you weren't driving at the time.
I'm
I
just
don't
saying
think you
that,
were
that
in diapers.
if
I
if
wasn't
you-
born.
if-
I could make a horse and buggy joke, but
Great.
it's too easy.
no, but if you look at increases in pay
The Tulsa at 8 Mile.
versus the I'm losing it here.
Good,
If
then
you
I
look
can
at
take over.
increases in pay versus the overall cost of living, and then you combine all of that with reductions in income because we have lost jobs in a household, all of a sudden, I don't care who you are, you're still in an economic crisis at this point.
I completely
Yeah,
agree.
but your words are harsh. But can you give me an example? Give some examples as to why it's
They're
so
harsh.
bad.
All right, let's analyze it. Let me give you an example.
And I just
Suppose-
read an article that said that consumer credit card spending and credit card debt increased by like $17
It's
billion
back.
dollars or something.
No, not much, but it's back on the rise because they had
$4
done a
billion
good job
over
of going
Christmas.
down up until the second half of 2013. Let's assume you're making $125,000 a year, you're in a 25% marginal tax bracket, 20% federal, basically, 21% federal, 4% state. Let's assume you've got $45,000 of credit card debt. You're paying interest on those cards at 20%, which is a little higher than normal, but it's not out of range. Sometimes they go to 29%, 32%, but it's easy for computation purposes. Your interest cost per year on $45,000 of credit card debt times 20% is $9,000. That's $750 a month. When you look at how much you make, you have to make $1,000 a month in order to net $750 to pay the credit cards. So you've got to make $1,000 a month just to pay the interest. Your payments on those credit cards at $45,000, multiply that by 2.5%. That's your normal minimum payment. That comes to $13,500 per year, which is $1,125 per month. In order to make net $1,125 a month, you have to make $1,500 a month gross so that you can pay your taxes and net the money to pay.
That's treading water.
Absolutely. Now, let's look at this as a percentage of your gross income.
And don't forget, when you're looking at these, and you can see it right on your credit card statement, it'll tell you that if you pay the minimum monthly payment, and if you're in that 20% bracket, it's going to take you somewhere between 17 and 25 years to pay off this credit card bill.
It's sick. It's sick. That came out with the Reform Act, I think, of 2009, and at least it does a good job of reminding you of how serious of a problem it is. That's like the Surgeon General statement on a package of cigarettes. That little box on your credit card statement is a box saying you're going to die if you don't take action.
And how effective is that statement on the pack of cigarettes?
It works very well for the people that don't smoke.
Yeah, but here's an interesting question.
How's that?
And I'm going to
Can I go back to my
convert
chart?
this just for a second.
I guess not.
Eric, you're coming out of law school. I'm assuming you or your friends have a lot of
Student
loans.
Yeah.
Now, with these student loans coming due, you've already come out of law school with this big nut to pay in the first place. What is your belief and the use of credit cards in your age group? Are people using them to promote a lifestyle, or are you guys like tight to the vest because you're already in debt?
Well, I would say that briefly that people are using credit cards, but not as much as maybe they have in the past. I don't use credit cards.
Are your
almost
friends
at all.
paying them off every month, or are their debts, the balance is growing? That's the
I
big
think.
question.
Well, I think a change in our generation is that they're paying them off, but they're also getting help from their parents as well in a lot of cases.
All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I want to finish my chart, and then we're gonna figure out what do you do about the credit card debt. We'll be back after the break.
I couldn't get out of the car. I couldn't run or exercise. I couldn't work.
Dr. Lewis Radin believes that pain shouldn't have to wait. His Spine Specialist of Michigan is a comprehensive center dedicated to helping you manage pain now. Expect the latest techniques and personalized care. Why suffer another minute?
He's the best. I tell people that he's the one that saved my life.
Make your appointment with Dr. Radin. Call 248-792-9496.
Are you struggling to pay your mortgage? Afraid of foreclosure and the financial mess it can cause? Time is not on your side. Call Alan Stalter, the short sale specialist. For years, Alan has been helping distressed homeowners navigate through the short sale process. His experience will get you out of your home without the credit score damage that follows foreclosure. If you want a fresh start, you need to call Alan Stalter, the short sale specialist, 248-854-3829 or MetroDetroitShortSale.com.
No one ever thinks that a serious injury can happen to them, but it can, and it does. And it can happen to you. And when it does, you need a fighter in that courtroom for you. Call me, Ben Johnson. Automobile accident, police misconduct, medical malpractice, product liability. You know what you're up against, how hard it is to get answers. When all you want is justice, call me, Ben Johnson. Whatever your legal crisis, I will fight for you. Call me today.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call Thav Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt,
Dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call Fav Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Going from hourly to salary seemed like a good career move, but now you're working 60 hours a week instead of 40, and you aren't getting paid any of that extra time. You're stuck, right? Wrong. You can be on salary and still be entitled to overtime. If you've been wrongly denied such pay, you may be entitled to that and more. Gold Star Law is here to help you through your employment law problem, whatever it is.
Gold Star Law, protecting employees' rights. Call 1-800-WAGES-10 for a free consultation today.
All right, welcome back. I want to finish this analysis on the credit card debt and then set the stage as to how you resolve it. Before I do that, let me make a couple quick announcements. Seminars coming up. Go to our websites, thavgross.com, financialcrisistalkcenter.com. If you're watching on TV, just look at the slides. It has the date and the time of the seminars. You want to sign up for them, you just go to the sites, fill out the form, or you can always call 888-235-HELP. Seminars are broad-based. The whole idea is preserving future income for yourself so there's something to retire with. It's not a per se debt crisis seminar. It's much more broader in scope from the standpoint of putting yourself in the right track so that when you get to 65, 70, beyond just whatever's left of Social Security, there's some money there to live on. You got to wake up. You got to look out for yourself. It's very apparent that no one else is going to look out for you in this world. You got to do it yourself, and you got to be a master of your own future. So that's our recommendation. I want to thank our sponsors, Ben Johnson Law, Gold Star Law, Samasco Law, Double Action Shooting Range and Gun Shop, Spine Specialists of Michigan, Alan Stalter, Elite REO Services Short Sale Specialist, and our upcoming sponsor, Cardiology Associates of Michigan, as well as our gift certificate sponsors, Johnny Pomodoros and Detroit Popcorn. All right, now back to this analysis on the credit card debt. What I was trying to say to you is, what percentage of your gross income are you using to pay those credit card debts? Because I want you to think in terms of how much of your income is going to service credit card debt. If you're paying $1,125 a month and your gross income is $10,416 a month because you have a $125,000 a year salary, you're paying 10.8% of your gross income every month to service your credit card debts. The percentage of interest you're paying is $750 a month of interest against $10,416. It's 7% of your gross income. What if you could waive? Here's the question you have to ask yourself. And it's not this simple, but this is the question. If you could wave a wand, make it go up and down and
Hold
around.
on, are you saying 18%?
No, it's not a combination of the two. It's your interest is costing you 7.2% of your gross. Your total payment, which includes interest, is costing you 10.8.
Even my daughter Rebecca would think that's a lot.
It's insane. Now, wave a wand, go poof, and the credit card debt goes away. It dematerializes.
Do that again.
Wave a wand, go poof, and the credit card debt goes away. I do good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you do that with people?
No, that's the only time I'm going to do that. No, I can't do that.
You could, but then we're getting to the Godfather movies, and that's not worth it.
We're not going to do that today.
Okay, tell me about your wand.
Here's the question. We'll get to the wand in a second. If you could save $1,100, oh my God! I didn't even realize where you were going with that. I'm telling you, the regulators are gonna come down and they're gonna say, "Get rid of David Einstandig," and I'm gonna have to say, "No, we have to keep David Einstandig." Okay, $1,125 a month in an IRA. Brian's losing it. Eric is I don't know, maybe Eric's too young to get it. No,
I'm just trying to keep it together.
It's
my first time here. I'm just trying to keep it together for everybody.
I don't even know what you meant.
Brian looks like a tomato.
Wand. Okay. All right. We'll try and kill their mics. $1,125 a month in an IRA or a 401k. You have two benefits. If you save income, first of all, you guys, I'm losing focus. If you take the $1,125 a month and instead of paying it to the credit card companies, you put it into your IRA or your 401k, you start saving money. Another benefit is you save taxes. When you make the IRA contribution, you're going to save $2,700 a year in your taxes. That's 20% federal rate times the $13,500 that you're putting away into the IRA. If you put that $1,125 away and let it grow over 10 or 20 years at 8%, in 10 years, you're going to have $205,816. In 20 years, you're going to have $662,652. Increase that now. Suppose you take the tax savings, that $2,700 a year you're saving, and add that to your monthly savings account in the IRA. You're going to put away $1,350 a month. In 10 years, you got $246,979. In 20 years, you have $795,182. My point is this. If you can, I hate to say this given the conduct of my cohorts right now, but if you wave that wand and make the credit card debt go away and you start putting that money away into a 401k or an IRA and you get 8% growth, when you get 20 years down the road, you almost have $1 million.
Even if you had half that amount.
Right.
Look where you would be at.
So the question is, how do we make that happen? What do we do? Now, I don't have the magic wand, but we have the tricks of the trade that accomplishes the same thing. It's not a poof and it goes away, but it's a short-term poof and it goes away. Number one is you could win the lottery, but let's assume that that's not going to be the option.
Actually,
that you
most
choose.
people that win the lottery wind up blowing it and then coming to us anyway.
Another option is you could file a Chapter 7 or a 13 bankruptcy.
Which may be viable.
Another one is you could do debt resolution. Now, how does a Chapter 7 or 13 bankruptcy work, Brian? What does that do?
Well, those bankruptcy avenues will either instantly or over time eliminate the credit card debt by paying either nothing or as little as humanly possible based upon what your budget what you can afford under your budget, eliminating the interest, eliminating significant, if not almost all of the principal in Chapter 13, allowing you to focus on living, eating, sleeping, and breathing, and being happy.
I mean, realistically, if you're making $125,000 a year, unless you have a bunch of business debt, you're probably looking at a 13. 7 is probably not an option for bankruptcy for you.
But that's
it's
absolutely
possible,
correct.
but it's probably not an option.
You know, one of the other things that you haven't mentioned here, Ken, which is there are other traditional ways to get out of debt, but people just don't seem to find the money to do so. And there is budget counseling and budget analysis that can be done. Most people don't realize how much money they actually waste in their spending on a day-to-day basis and get no satisfaction from that wasted spending. That's another area that we can look at.
That goes with about satisfaction.
Oh, please don't sing.
Good point. And you also have, so you got bankruptcy and you got debt resolution. We're going to take a break. We're going to talk briefly about debt resolution. Then we're going to talk about a little bit more issues relating to credit card debt. We'll be back right after the break.
You like your job. What you don't like is the way your boss has been treating you. He's making comments about how you look instead of your work, and he's been touching you inappropriately. If you complain, is he allowed to fire you? Absolutely not. Unwelcome sexual comments, advances, and contact are illegal in the workplace. Make him pay. Gold Star Law is here to help you through your employment law problem, whatever it is.
Gold Star Law, protecting employees' rights. Call 1-800-WAGES-10 for a free consultation today.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
Thav Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
Every family has the family meeting, and we all know what that means. Dad's got dementia. What are we going to do? What's the care plan that the family has in place? Usually they don't or they struggle with a care plan. When you go home tonight and you talk to your tax person and you talk to your financial person, say, what's the plan that you have in place? And as soon as they don't give you an answer, give me a call, because I can do it for you.
Double Action, shooting center and gun shop for the largest selection of guns, accessories, and ammunition. Double Action is your only pro gun shop. And now you can train with the best in our basic CCW course with the most comprehensive curriculum, the best resources, and most accomplished staff. Don't be fooled by cheap imitations. Double Action is the only place to get your CCW or renewal. Double Action. We're on DeQuinder and Madison Heights.
Do you have tax problems, unfiled returns? Facing levies on wages in your property? You need an expert, not a cartoon character or salesman. Thav Gross is your solution.
You need to look at the big picture. That's what we do. We develop a plan that's right for you.
I had major tax problems. I didn't know what to do.
You need to address the problem now. Call the experts.
We're Thav Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, welcome back. We were talking about credit card debt, and we were focusing on whether if you could wave a magic wand, which wasn't the word of the day, and make the credit card debt go away, how much money you could save. Before we get back to it, and I know, David, you had a question, and I want to do the last quote of the day. The quote of the day. Suppose you, and this is very relevant to the last segment of the show for you guys. Suppose you were an idiot, and suppose you were a member of Congress, but I repeat myself. Option A, Mark Twain. Option B, W.C. Fields.
Option 3?
Option C, Harry S. Truman. I just want you to clarify when I meant the idiot part. Well, I wasn't referring to you guys as congressmen. Just to,
we figured that one out. Thank you.
So you have a guess?
Mark Twain.
Eric?
Mark Twain.
David?
I think it's Mark Twain, but I'll say Harry Truman.
Thank you, David, for saying Harry Truman. The answer was Mark Twain. Okay. I would hate for all of you guys to get it correct, so that makes me feel better. All right, so we're done with the quotes.
All right, here's my question to you. You were talking about
maybe
waving...
we should do with the envelope like were you guys around for Carmack?
Carnac?
Ed McMahon?
Carnac. Johnny Carson? Yes.
Carmack.
Apparently you weren't.
Whatever his name was.
Carmack
I
is where
don't
you
know.
can get a convertible, probably.
Okay, back to the credit cards.
All right. You talked about having the ability to wave a wand or do whatever and get the credit cards to go away, but let's say that I come in, I meet with you, spend the time, I give you the information, the stars are aligned, and you say debt resolution is the best alternative. What does that mean? I mean, what do you tell me at that time? How do you do it?
Debt resolution is a strategy we employ. We developed it and have fine-tuned it through the financial crisis. But what we do is we stop paying the credit card debts, the bills. We let them get 150, 180 days behind, and we negotiate settlements. It's right for the person who has the income that's making the minimum payments, and we use those payments like the $11.25 per month. We look at it and analyze it, and we say if we can take that $11.25 per month and extend it over 15, 16 months, if that gives us enough money to settle out the credit card debt by getting discounts from the lenders, it's a good strategy.
So that's my war chest.
We use the money you've been paying them, you stop paying, you use it, and we accumulate it, and we use that to settle.
They're going to call me. What do I say to them when they call me?
You say to them, call us. We give them, and then we contact them. We send in a power of attorney. We say we're representing you to help you, assist you with financial problems. We're trying to avoid bankruptcy. We're trying to work this out, and we settle and we negotiate. The settlements range on the low of 20%, which is a great deal, to the high on some of the credit cards, 60, 65%. But on average...
So wait. When you say 20%, do you mean that I get 80% off?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And sometimes you're only getting 30, 40% off. But on average, it usually comes out to around 35 to 40%. The cost is around 7.5%. That's what we charge as an attorney fee. No hidden fees, no monthly service fees, nothing like that. And the point is, if you're right income-wise and the plan works, in a year and a half, by using the same money you were giving them every month,
which you were
going
to pay to them for over 20 years.
For the rest of your life.
Do I have
and
to,
then in the year and a half ends, you start putting the money into the 401k and the IRA.
Do I have to stop paying out all my credit cards at once? How does that work? Does
Generally,
it matter?
the answer is yes, but that's something you have to come in, we analyze, and we go through the whole process, and we look at what it's an art and a science. We have to look at the mix of the credit card debts. We know which credit card companies are more difficult and easier to settle with. We basically know where we can come out of it. It has to be, and we do it in an aggressive fashion. Some of the credit card companies won't settle easily unless it gets to court, and then we have to notice up depositions and say,
wait. What if I get sued? You're talking about court.
We represent you if you get sued. That's where we're different. We're not like a debt settlement company. This is a committed course of action because, number one, I believe credit card debt is financial cancer, and we're committed to getting rid of it.
Do the other companies, are you aware if these other companies, will they represent
Well, the other companies aren't law firms.
They don't do that
They
stuff.
don't represent you.
They don't do that stuff, and we don't fashion ourselves. We don't compete with them. We don't fashion ourselves like that. This is a strategy designed to make sure it works. The credit card companies, the attorneys that represent the credit card companies know us. They know if they sue that we're going to defend the case. They don't want to send, American Express doesn't want to send someone to Oakland County Circuit Court to testify to try and prove that credit card bill is correct.
Well, what if I?
They don't want to do it.
What if I know that charges on the credit card, I made those charges?
It's up to the other side to prove their case.
So you have to prove how they applied the payments. You have to prove the interest.
Yeah.
You have to prove the late
Sometimes
fees.
you have to be difficult in this world when you're an attorney representing a client to get your way, and we're difficult. We're the antithesis of what the credit card industry wants. They would be happy for us to be out of business.
Would you describe yourself as a PITA?
What's a PITA? Pain in the tush?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I kind of like to think of ourselves as a little bit more aggressive than that.
More aggressive than a PITA?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not going to play acronyms with you. We got in enough trouble with the wand. I think it's too dangerous to go there. I had another article on credit card scores, which we're going to have to save for another show. But what was interesting about it, just to give you the quick statistics, and I thought it was cool because we have 3 generations with us. Boomers, I'm a boomer, and 26% of us are worried about our credit score. David and Brian are Gen Xers. Only 15% are worried about their credit score. And Eric's a millennial, and only 16% of your group are worried. We'll explain that more on the next show of the Financial Crisis Talk Center because it's too involved to get it. But suffice it is to say, your credit score is not what's important here. It's the next 20 years that matters. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening. Drive safe. Have a great week.